Gardeners, I'm Captain Eddie Castro. Welcome to my shop. Nice to have you around. Uh-oh. I didn't know the remote had that button. Maybe I gotta check it and see if they got one to do this. Because my doctor tells me I don't have a heart problem. I got a butt problem. My butt's too big and weighs too much. The man just has no compassion. Hey, I gotta extend on number 121 on the Excalibur belt sander grinder thing. Okay. Number one, I heard from enough of you guys about why am I picking on Sorby. I was not picking on Sorby. I just think the price is exorbitant and you can build one for a lot better. Think, okay. Number two, I think you're going to really like it. So, I heard from you guys that you want me to modify your bracket, and I'm working on that. But yeah, it's going to cost you about 10, 12 bucks by the time you ship it to me, time I modify it, add a piece of flat bar, ship it back to you. We keep the post office rich, dumb, and happy, and all that. Let me give you another option, okay? Go out in the shop and look for a piece of plywood about 5 inches by 6 inches. 3/4 inch ply. Chinese ply work really good. Chinese ply being more than just 5, like 10, 11, 12. All right. Or Chinese birch, pardon. Find yourself a good piece of plywood. Let's not use MDF, okay? Now, I want you to get your bracket and take it off your machine. Go over to your drill press and drill 2 holes in it. I went about a 1/2 inch in from each end. Not critical, but you don't want to have them dead center. Now, they're going to be 1/4 inch holes because I'm using a 1/4 inch bolt. You get the correlation, quarter, okay. Now, flip it over, and on the face side, this is the side where you rub wood against, let's countersink them. Now, if you don't have a countersink, we'll go ahead and use a regular bolt, but that's going to be in your way when you want to run wood back and forth. But it takes 1 second to get that bracket off. But you're going to use this a lot more sharpening your tools than wood. Okay. Now, we've got the bracket, we've got 2 holes in it. Don't get ahead of me. Don't get ahead of me. This is a rough road. Okay. Now, we have our block of 5 inch by 6 inch, 3/4 inch plywood. Ta-da! You got to use your imagination because I don't have any plywood in the shop. I use Corian. Okay. This is it. 5 inch by 6 inch. It will get 2 holes drilled through it that line up with these 2 holes. Critical alignment. Okay. Now, like I said, don't get ahead of me. Alright. Then we're going to take 2 stove bolts. And do you know they don't call these stove bolts in a hardware store? They got the name because they were a clean way of assembling stoves in the 19th century. Yes. 2 bolts. Alright. Then, and I'm just going to spin these on real quick, or spin one of them on real fast so this doesn't fall apart. Go ahead, talk amongst yourselves here for a second. Da, 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 da. I don't have any background music in the budget. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Now, you got it. I made this bracket into a platform, and I made it 5 inches wide by 6 inches out. My holes are 4 1/4 to here. And why did I put 3? Because it allows you to use more of the area of the sander, and if you got to go way up on the sharps on the flats, you can move to the outside point, but the number stays the same, 4 1/4. Do you get it? There's no meal, no welding, no brackets, no clips, no runs, no errors, and no one left on base. This goes right back on your sander. Now, if you got the countersink them, you will never ever know it's there, except if you made out of this ugly piece of Corian, it will look ugly. But you made out of a nice looking piece of plywood and you wrote on it Black Hawk Tools, just remind you who came up with this, or a big guy, then you would not even mind it being there. That's right. Oh, you're going to put your name on it? Yeah, right. Like, own up to it, okay? Now, we've just made our own bracket, our own rig. I know you thought of this yesterday when I talked about it. You just didn't say anything out loud because you figured you'd sneak out in the shop and do it on your own. It's okay. It's alright. But I'm going to tell you, after you use this rig, you're not going to run back to the grinder as often. It's smaller, more compact, and a couple of guys I've shown it to have put it on a little bitty stand and put it right next to their lathe. And they are so happy. They just reach over, go right back to turning. Yeah, it's a nifty tool. And for a skew, there is not a better skew shaping and sharpening gizmo gadget device grinder anywhere. You're going to love it for a skew. And yes, you can modify it to do shapers and other things, but scrapers, we're not into that yet. We're going to take it slow, okay? You along with me now? All right. Well, I'm Captain Eddie Castle, and now that I saved the day, I'm going to go over there and do some wood turning. You know, what do they call it? Making shavings. You take care. I'll see you later. Wonder where the off button is on this thing.